So, first things first, I wanted to say I just got back home from Minoru Arenas in Richmond. Yes, this is video footage that I captured of Vasily Podkolzin going out there with a skating drill. The Troy Stecher Foundation has been doing their practices and special events here at Richmond's Minoru Arenas, and it's awesome. You know, you can see NHL players go out there and practice. We got a good up-close and personal view of Noah Juulsen, Podkolzin, Wolanin, Arshdeep Bains. Stecher, of course, was there. Kevin Bieksa was one of the coaches. And then there were other names, too, that you might recognize from around the NHL. Parker Wotherspoon. That's like the first guy that came into my mind. Angus Crookshank. Oh yeah, Danton Heinen was there. Nice to see him. Dakota Joshua. Jujhar Khaira as well. So quite a few NHL players were there. I think there were a few other guys that had shown up on yesterday's thing that I didn't see today. Kyle Burrows, Brendan Gallagher. But other than that, I wanted to give a big shout out over to Landon, Jay, and Matthias because they went out there and actually said hi to me, Lego Rocks 99, and they all wanted to take pictures, so that was really, really nice to see. I appreciate the support very much, guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you. But in this video, what I wanted to do was go over the latest in regards to other Vancouver Canucks players. Not the ones that I had seen today, Joshua, Wolanin, Bains, Heinen, Juulsen, and then the former Canucks. No, I wanted to talk about who is on the team right now and whom we are all sort of worried about. It's Thatcher Demko. Because we had ourselves a video clip from yesterday's The People's Show. Satyr Shah went out there with Israel Fair, and they had spoke about Thatcher Demko and their rumblings that they're getting a hold of. Here's the clip from Twitter. "Until we see Demko for a few weeks on end, I can't feel good about where he's at," the quote reads. And one of the other quotes from this video interview talks about how, for now, there doesn't seem to be a panic that Thatcher Demko is going to be out for the season or anything like that. For now, it seems more so like a wait-and-see kind of situation. It doesn't seem like he'll be out for a significant amount of time. We had seen other reports saying that even though Demko might not be available for the Canucks in preseason and in training camp, the concerns were that that timeline would bleed into just kind of the start of the regular season. Not really anything too substantial, but worst comes to worst, he might miss some time at the beginning of the year, which will prompt the Canucks to maybe sign a guy like Kevin Lankinen, for example. No real concern that this is going to be a super long-term thing, which is good at the very least, but also hearing the quote here that until Thatcher Demko plays a significant amount of weeks on end, nobody can really feel good about where he's at. Yeah, it's because the injury that he had sustained is a pretty wild one. Let's go over to the 630 Ched Bob Stouffer show, because earlier this week, there was an episode with a guest appearance by Frank Seravalli. I'll leave a link in the description if you want to go ahead and listen to the Apple Podcasts version of this audio. I'll also leave a link in the description as well to the Satyr Shah clip from earlier on Sportsnet 650. But also, I'll leave a link in the description to this article on CanucksDaily.com because this Philip Gosselin article goes out there and transcribes the Seravalli quotes from the Bob Stouffer podcast. Let's go out there and read this. "There's some alarming info that has been reported," Seravalli said. "The playoff injury that Demko got was apparently a rare fluke injury. One doctor explained that you can be in practice for 50 years and never see this injury. Their initial hope was that it wasn't very severe. The fact the conversation has been turned to he may not be ready for opening night makes you wonder if they pushed too hard, too fast, too soon. If not, and this is still lingering, I don't know if they can do anything about this injury. Sorry to be so vague. If you had given me $1 million to explain this injury, I wouldn't have done it. All I know is that it's something to do with the back of his knee." And the source written out here is the Oilers Now Bob Stouffer show with Frank Seravalli from August 26, 2024. And that, of course, is something that I don't think anybody was expecting to hear, nor is it something that anybody can really explain. Thatcher Demko being out for such a long amount of time with something in the back of his knee? Now, of course, I'm no doctor, so I'm not going to go out there and pretend that I know everything about the human body, but still, to have even NHL insiders saying, yeah, like, I can't explain it, it's a weird thing, it's a freak injury, freak accident, you have to start wondering, like, in what moment did Thatcher Demko go out there and experience this injury? Because in Game 1 against the Predators, he finished the game, he won the game, but towards the end it was like, okay, he's not healthy, he's not playing, he's not available anymore. So I don't know if you're like reviewing the footage, trying to see some of the last saves that he made or the last defensive zone shifts that the Canucks have. I don't know if you look at those, you could kind of infer what's going on with Thatcher Demko, but the idea that's being brought up here that maybe, just maybe, the Canucks kind of rushed Demko back a little bit too soon before playing in the playoffs. I don't know if that's got anything to do with it directly, but of course you could say indirectly, maybe forcing a recovery for the playoffs and giving him some time to get back into game shape before the playoffs begin. Sure, it makes sense in theory, like you want to get your guy fresh, hot and ready, you don't want to have him just coming in completely cold, but if that comes at the expense of him being able to play properly and having knees that can hold themselves up properly, then you have to start wondering where the fault was in this situation. At the very least, Canucks fans should be expecting Demko to probably play sometime at the beginning of the season. If he misses training camp, he misses the preseason, then okay, that kind of defeats the entire purpose of wanting him to get hot back in the game shape for the playoffs last season, because, I mean, look, the injury, if it takes him all the way to right now and beyond, it's going to be cold for him regardless, but either way, at least Arthur Seelobs is there, and if the Vancouver Canucks decide to go for another goaltender on the market, then it'll be easy for us to infer where exactly Thatcher Demko is on his path to recovery. So, again, links are going to be in the description to three things. First, a Satyr Shaw clip on Sportsnet 650, expressing concern about how Demko's long-term health isn't really the most, let's just say, consistent right now. Is that the right word? I don't know. But either way, I do kind of agree with that idea. Until we see Demko play a significant amount of time, like multiple weeks in a row, it's tough to really fully believe that he can continue to be number one caliber material, because even though he's good, he's fantastic when he plays, if he's getting hurt all the time, he just can't play, right? So at the end of the day, links are going to be in the description to the Satyr Shaw clip, the Bob Stouffer Frank Saravelli episode, as well as the article that we had pulled the Bob Stouffer Frank Saravelli quote from. I want you to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about a few predictions. How many games does Thatcher Demko play in this upcoming regular season? Does he experience the Vancouver Canucks injury bug, where a guy gets injured, we're like, okay, he'll take 2 weeks to recover, 2 weeks go by, and then it's like, okay, well, he's still injured, why is he not playing yet? And then the update from the team is, okay, now he's day to day, and then okay, now he's week to week, and now he's month to month, and now he's out for the entire year. I feel like there have been multiple guys over the years that have had similar paths in the Vancouver Canucks system, where we initially think the injury is only going to be a certain amount of time, but then it triples, quadruples, quintuples in length as the season goes on. So for Thatcher Demko, does he play more or fewer than 25 games this year? I want you to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.